It's an exciting day today.
An exciting day, right, OK. Now, we've been presented here, ladies and gentlemen, at GBNews with something that's been doing the rounds in the House of Commons amongst Conservative MPs, which is a checklist, really, of why to back Boris. It includes things on, getting on with the job, cost of living crisis, he got Brexit done, we would look weak or we would look divided at a time of elections, Vladimir Putin, war in Europe, etc. Do you think any of this is going to wash with the Conservative MPs?
Well, I tweeted that out. I mean, I think Conservative MPs are pretty sort of sophisticated people. I mean, in the sense that they're politicians and they get elected. So I don't think that's going to wash with them. I mean, simply because they know it already. He got the big calls right. But the interesting thing is the fact that we're having this vote of no confidence today. It was obviously planned, the numbers that would go in, because the people who want to see him gone had been talking about this over the last 24 hours and saying that a vote was imminent. So clearly it wasn't, as if you like, a sort of spontaneous thing done by individuals. It was planned that it would go in this weekend and be announced this morning.
Yeah, can I just say, sorry, so can I just ask one thing? Is there, the timing of it, I think, is what's important here. It's quite key, actually, because it comes before these by-election results, which are not predicted to go necessarily particularly well. It becomes before potentially a Keir Starmer fine for Beergate, whatever you want to call it. Actually, the timing of this could be very good for Boris Johnson. It's almost like maybe some of his allies might have sent a few letters in early.
Yeah, well, I remember I was a member of the ERG, because although I'm not particularly right-wing,
European reform group, that
exactly,
is,
yeah. And the one thing that I've always believed in is that we'd be better off out of Europe, and that's why I was a member of the ERG, this group, which people characterise as being right-wing, but it isn't a right-wing group. But I remember Jacob Rees-Mogg announcing that there would be a vote of no confidence against Theresa May, and he said at the meeting, and we're going to go outside, and the cameras are ready for us, so everybody who supports us, join us. And I remember people looking at their fingernails and not catching his eye at all because the timing was wrong. And I think for those people who want to see Boris gone, they've got the timing wrong, actually. And, we'll see. We'll know by about 9 o'clock.
So you say they've got the timing wrong. So is there a suitable time for those who do want him gone to trigger a leadership election there?
Well, maybe after the by-elections. I mean, as one of your commentators, or you were commenting, they're not expected to go well. Look, we're mid-term.
Yeah.
I mean, apart from anything else. But, I think a lot of all this rather coordinated attack against Boris is not actually about Partygate. And Jesse Norman, who is a colleague of mine and whom I greatly respect, incidentally, he gave his reasons, and it was reasons which don't concur with my own. He's against the selling off of Channel 4, which most people think Channel 4 is a private company anyway.
Really
it was against the fact that we're, announcing a Rwanda policy to try and stop this illegal immigration across the channel.
Can I just draw your attention to the third paragraph in this briefing that MPs have received, which says we can choose today to focus on growing the economy, cutting taxes, making our streets safer, busting NHS backlogs. He also mentions about the vaccine rollout as one of the big issues that they're asking people to focus on when they support Boris Johnson. Cutting taxes is not happening, is it? The NHS backlog, yes, it's gone down slightly, but it's still rising. When we think about vaccine rollout, I personally think about Nadhim Zahawi, who, of course, was vaccines minister. And in any case, it's Rishi Sunak who's associated with the everything that was done to help the economy in the pandemic. So what exactly can people attribute specifically to Boris Johnson that might help them make that vote for him?
Well, it was very clear because, you had not only Keir Starmer, but others in the government saying, let's do the safe thing and go with the European vaccines programme. It was Boris Johnson. This is long before Nadhim Zahawi. It was Boris Johnson who said, no, we can do it on our own and we'll do it better. Let's take advantage of Brexit. And that's why I support him, because he gets the big calls right in Cabinet.
Okay.
And all this saying, oh, well, it was this person or that person and whatever, actually is not the case. The direction comes directly from Boris because he's ebullient, because he's bold, because he's an optimist. And part of the problem with his optimism, if you like, was the result of the sort of rather relaxed atmosphere that happened in in Downing Street when we weren't making
I think
those
too much
decisions.
is being made of the role that Partygate has played in this. OK, maybe it has played a relatively significant role or a significant role, but I think there's other things as well. There are issues with things like net zero, there are issues with taxes, but fundamentally it comes down to whether or not Conservative MPs feel that if Boris Johnson leaves that party into the next general election, that they will keep their seat. And is it a case of maybe be careful what you wish for with a lot of Conservative MPs? Because Boris Johnson, by and large, just tends to win things.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. Look, let's be clear. If there were a general election tomorrow, we'd lose.
Right.
And we'd lose big time. And we'd lose big time.
So there you go.
But, you know, by law, there needn't be a general election until early 2005. My guess, for what it's worth, is that we'll have an election either in May or September of 2004. There's a lot of water to flow on.
2004?
2024.
Okay.
Thank you, Mercy.
Gosh, taking me back.
Having a senior moment
Back to
there.
secondary school.
Yeah.
And, but it could be as late as 2025.
Yeah.
Did I say 2005 as well?
No, you're all right. Don't worry.
Oh, good, thank goodness.
We'll let you get away with it.
Time for my tablets.
Now, look, we're going to keep you in here, Michael, actually, because I think you're a tremendous asset for us to have in the studio throughout the course of this day. What is a momentous day, a seismic day in British politics. I just want to remind you, if you're just joining us now, what Sir Graham Brady had to say earlier today as he announced that there would be a confidence vote in Boris Johnson later this evening.
The threshold of 15% of the parliamentary party seeking a vote of confidence in the Prime Minister has been passed. Therefore, a vote of confidence will take place within the rules of the 1922 committee. That vote will take place this evening in the House of Commons between 6 and 8 o'clock, and we will announce the result shortly thereafter. There will be arrangements for proxy votes for any colleagues who can't be present in person in Westminster, and we'll notify colleagues of those arrangements in the near future.
Did you communicate the news directly to the Prime Minister? How did he react?
I'm not going to go into detail of that. I have followed the rules that we have in place. I notified the Prime Minister yesterday that the threshold had been reached, and we agreed the timetable for a confidence vote to take place, and he shared my view, which is also in line with the rules that we have in place, that that vote should happen as soon as could reasonably take place, and that would be today.
How many letters have you received?
I don't divulge that, but the threshold of 15% has been passed.
And when was the threshold passed?
It's slightly complicated because some colleagues had asked specifically that it should not be until the end of the Jubilee celebrations.
So did some of them post-date their letters so as not to interrupt the Jubilee?
I think that's not a bad description of what was taking place.
And that's when the threshold was reached?
Therefore, we reached the point where I could communicate with the Prime Minister yesterday, which I did, and as I said, he agreed with me that we should conduct the vote as quickly as we reasonably can.
Will the Prime Minister have a chance to address the 1922 committee before?
It's always an open invitation to the Prime Minister to come and speak to the committee, so if he wishes to, we will arrange that meeting this afternoon.
Have you put one in yourself, a letter?
I'm not going to answer that question, but I think technically it would be possible, but it would be a slightly odd thing to do.
Wow, that's Graham Brady there, chair of the 1922 Backbench Committee. You know, what did you make of his remarks this morning?
Well, one of the things about Graham is he's an absolute professional when it comes to this. He's done this many, many times. He's always kept it a secret, the number of people who've written to him about this matter. And the one thing I have no doubt on whatsoever is the counts will be done accurately, and he'll report it without fear or favour.
And he's the right man for the job.
Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows, and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.